Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good with y'all? Y'all know what it is. It's E2G presents Sports Network presents First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on and fall in. What's good this morning? It's your boy Trey. You got my man Ron in the building to speak easy. Bishop, I think we'll show. If not, we got it. We got it. We got it. Happy Labor Day to all those out there. Ron, what's good this morning, brother? How you doing?
Happy Football Monday. First Monday of football.
That's
Oh
what
boy.
That's what I'm saying. I think we would be doing the injustice if we did not get on here at least to take some time on this joyous day
Mm,
to discuss some of the stuff that went on in the college football this weekend. All the conversation, all the talk we had in reference to football, we would be remiss to be able to come and give the people what they want when we talk about some of these teams. Top 25. It was actually some good games over the weekend. I know some games did not end how all of how people wanted it to, but I was like, you know what, you got to get on here and discuss it and talk about it. So that's what we're here for.
yeah, I'm
Ron,
positive. I'm positive. All the first formation know dang well USC ain't putting up 70 points and Trey ain't coming
oh,
in.
you know it. You know, I was sitting up and waiting. You know what? You know what? How the pettiness get. I sat there, and once I seen that USC had the potential to outscore Miami, I was like, "Let's go!" I was like, "All we need is one touchdown, and we'll put up 72, 73,
Wow.
as opposed to 70." But of course, in the for the sake of sportsmanship, they didn't put that. They didn't do it. But 66 was good enough for me. Uh,
Sportsmanship.
yes, for in
Then
the
what happened to sportsmanship after the third touchdown pick six return?
nah, it was too early. It was too early. It's like we got more to do. We ain't tried our offense out yet. So he had to continue. It's like we ain't worked on our offense yet. It's like defense is doing exactly what they need. We didn't get a chance to work on our offense yet. And then of course, if anything, for the most part, I was just joyous that we put up a very offensive output than Oklahoma did. But I wouldn't. I tried to contain that. I didn't text or Bishop or anything. Only thing I actually ended up texting him because Bishop did say, or he did expect Houston to get upset at University of Houston as they played UTSA. So I sent them a text message when Houston was down 7-14 in the second quarter or third quarter. But in any case, Houston was able to pull it out. Maybe that'll be another one of the games that we talk about today. But it was a couple of games. Of course, first I would like to set up and send a shout out to our sis, that queen of the court, as we discussed, one of the most prolific goats in our time, regardless of gender. Serena Williams. Of course, we know she went down in the third round this past week, which we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But now. Uh, we send her off. Saying her swan song. She's done. We believe calling it quits. She didn't go out, or she didn't go out as we would have liked her to, but she is out. It's a wrap on a great career. 23 major slams, over 90 titles, um, over 600 days at uh, number one. It's like she did, she did immense and great things. So Serena, of course, everything has to come to an end at some point, but you had your reign and we was glad to witness it. Um,
Are you looking at those stats? It says she's been number one for only 600 days.
no, over. It was over. She had the most. Tiger Woods holds the record for the most consecutive days at number one. But I think she was 608
Oh, that's
consecutive days.
consecutive.
Consecutive, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was total.
Oh no, no, no. She held it longer than
I
that.
was
She
like,
just
it
had
had to be closer to 10 years.
Yeah, she had 607 consecutive, I think 608 or something like that, consecutive days in which she held number one.
2 years
Mm-hmm.
straight.
Uh,
That had
of
to be
course,
like '03 to '05 or
like
something.
she was high stepping. It was even close. When you and I was looking at the little graphic they did with the and showing it. I was like, oh wow! It's like you look at the years of her just growing up through the years in which she was just dominant.
Right, and it should have been more. Shout out to the GOAT. They always tried to make somebody seem better than her. Like I think the other number one was Maria Povich or something, the Russian tennis player. They
Uh-huh.
always tried to put her on Serena's level. Just like, no, no one's built like that. Why y'all
Yeah,
even try?
she had a hell of a good run, definitely.
And then she would go out there and work that girl, that poor girl. Oof, Serena.
And she put up a good fight, and even towards the end, like she kept on winning those sets. It just was too much, and of course, I believe just at the age and it just takes its time. Uh, other people come in speed and power, but in state is she's one of the greatest, and it would be go down in regardless of sex, gender, um, and we can take solace in that. Represent. Um, Staying in this little in the not staying in the women's vein when we talk about in sports before we get into this past weekend. Um, of course, the Chicago Sky battled against the Connecticut Sun as technically both teams are tied up 1-1 in the best of five series. Um, and Chicago, being the champion that they were, defending WNBA champion, was able to pull out the 76-72 win over the Connecticut Sun, taking the 2-1 lead. Just needing one more game to finish it to go to the WNBA finals. Chicago Sky was led by 16 points by Candace Parker, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 15 points from Claire Cooper, 13 from Emma Messerman, as well as 12 points from Courtney Vandersloot. Um, in which the Connecticut Suns, again, some of the dismal points is showing 18 points by DeWanna Wagner, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 points apiece from Brianna Jones and Natasha Heidemann, both contributing. Natasha Heidemann contributing with 3 rebounds. And Brianna Jones contributing with additional 3 rebounds and 1 assist and 14 points from correction. That was from Holly. Courtney Williams who had that. Natasha Heidemann contributed with 14 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. But obviously, it wasn't enough. As the Sky were able to go ahead and produce the W, winning by 4 points, 76-72. But when you look at the other game, that one was a barn burner, I guess you could say. It sparked a lot. Um, that's with the Las Vegas Aces facing off against the Seattle Storm, in which the Seattle Storm, for a second, you thought was going to get the W, complete the win. Both of these two teams tied up at 1-1, in which it looked like Seattle, after a knockdown three from the corner by Sue Bird, had the game in hand. It was going to go ahead and walk off with a 2-point dub. Uh, but of course, Las Vegas, Becky Hammond made it happen. Was able to produce a play that sent the game into overtime, in which Las Vegas took the reins from there, getting the W 110-98. As they go on to take the 2-1 series lead, just as no different from Chicago Sky, where they basically will just one game away from producing for having a Las Vegas versus Chicago final. Seattle Storm, led by Brianna Stewart's 15 rebounds, 6 assists, and 20 points. 17 points apiece from Jewel Lloyd and Sue Bird. Eight assists from Bird, and 2 from Lloyd, and also 10 points from Izzy McElgore, which she contributed with 3 points, 1 assist. The Las Vegas Aces, led by Angels Wilson's 34 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. 29 points from Chelsea Gray, 12 assists, 3 and 1 steal, 5 rebounds, and 16 points from Kelsey Plums. Conditionally also with 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal as well. As like again, the Las Vegas Aces victorious 110-98. Um, is getting close to the end of that season, but they are doing damage, plenty of damage. Um, I look forward to seeing what's going to go on the Aces. I'm rocking with the Aces. I'm feeling the Aces a little bit, man. Um,
Ace of spades.
so you know, what I'm saying, shout out to them.
Yeah,
Um,
Asia Wilson looked like a problem.
oh yeah, she is. And that, even though she looked like she traveled on the last shot that put them within, that kind of gave them the the 1 point lead down the stretch, and then but Sue Bird go and do what goats, I mean what greats do, knock down three in the corner to tie it up. I mean to take the 2 point lead, and of course Becky, like I said, does the writes up the perfect play that puts them in position, and of course, backdoor. She beats. I think it was Gray beats her man to the back door for the layup into in the tie. So, but yes, okay. But getting to what we was here for, like I said, the time, just enough time today so we can talk about this past weekend. Top 25 teams in action this weekend. As we know, some teams played last weekend. Uh, as much as I want to get directly to the Florida State game, because I think that probably was one of the better games for other reasons. But there were other games that took place prior to. Um, let's not talk about the 55 to nothing drubbing of Alabama. Bryce Young, six touchdowns. Um, that was expected. So um, we won't even talk about that. Um, however, what's good, Sean? What's good, Sean? Brother, how you doing this morning? Glad to see you rocking with us in formation this morning. Glad to have you here. Um, the Georgia and Oregon, Brian. Georgia and Oregon. Did
First,
you expect this type of game?
no, no. I saw Oregon plus 17, and my eyes went green for money. I thought that was an easy cover. Um, the biggest thing that stuck out to me was Georgia's defense not being able
Hmm.
to be what it was. But I knew their offense was still going to be able to ball out, but
Hmm.
they showed us that they were still top tier at every level against the Oregon Ducks.
Of course, Bo Nix transferred from Oregon to correction, transferred from Auburn to Oregon, 21 for 37, 173 yards, two interceptions. Sendon Bennett, 25 for 31, 368 yards, two touchdowns, no interception. A Beck, 5 for 6, 17, 71 yards, the one touchdown. As the Georgia Bulldogs run wild over the Oregon Ducks, winning 49-3, a number three versus number 11 matchup, and it did not look the part at all. Of course, being a Trojan fan, I'm not mad at it due to the fact of, hey, that's a number 11 loss, which hopefully drops them out the top 15, which
Yep.
means we should drop into we should move up a bit for the most part. So not mad at it. It was I don't know what to say. I seen the clown in memes when Stinson is running out and there's two Oregon players that look like about to run each other. One's basically trying to tell him like he's going that way. It was just it wasn't a good look. But like you said, he did offensively. They put up the numbers: 368 yards passing. Do you think it was a situation of Georgia just was that more potent and ready, or Oregon just wasn't? It wasn't their time yet.
Yeah. I don't want to believe in Georgia yet, Trey. I
Okay.
really, I really kind of overlooked this game,
Uh
but
huh.
looking at their weapons on offense is what really scares me about Georgia. They got like this 280-pound tight end that was just
Oh
running down
yes,
the
doing his
sideline,
thing.
running folks. They got all these other weapons at wide receivers, and I think like one of their best weapons didn't even catch a pass last week. I mean, on Saturday. I don't know. But I'm a tread lightly on Georgia.
That's understandable, of course. Another top 25 game. Number 7 Utah Utes faced off against the Florida Gators. Them Gators, as we know, down in the swamp. Gators of yesteryear, or maybe not.
Yesteryear, disrespect.
Maybe not, or maybe not. The Gators get
That
the
we don't got some
upset
Gators of
win.
old.
Gators with the upset win of the day of the week, I guess. Winning.
No.
No, not yet.
Wait,
There
hold on.
wasn't
Let
much
me look at the upsets.
because there was what's Virginia Tech did get upset by Old Dominion. That wasn't
Okay.
expected. Uh, Florida State, is that an upset over LSU? I don't know. Florida State now 2
Any
and
win from Florida State is an upset.
0. But while Ron looks at up 29-6 in the waning minutes of the game. As of course Utah's Rising went to try to get the W, complete the game, throwing an interception in the last few seconds of the game, last minute of the game, which secured Florida's victory. Rising 22 of 32 for 216 yards, one touchdown, and that lone interception in the end zone at the end. Richardson 17 for 24, 168 yards for the Gators. Excuse me. Florida's he had also additionally contributed 11 carries for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns. Um, Thomas was 23 had 23 carries for Utah, 115 yards and 1 touchdown. Uh, Parasol for the Gators, 4 receptions, 67 yards. To lead the Gators in Kuth, 9 for 105 plus 1 touchdown. Utah, unfortunately, you know what? This is why we're losing the Pac-12. Everyone doesn't take care of business when it's time to be taken care of, and now we're in a position to where we get to go into bigger greener pastures where there's more likely. This is why, even though, of course, we're going to get to this, and I should have led with this, but even though the CFP has been expanded to 12 teams, it's a little too late. The Pac-12 is already going to be missing USC and UCLA, as we know. The Big Ten is going to, the Big 12 is going to be missing um, Texas and Oklahoma as they move on to the SEC, and the Pac-12 is going to be missing USC, UCLA as they move on to the Big Ten. But now they get the expansion with the 12 teams, so I can foresee that this year is going to be a conversation of if the 12 team expansion would have started this year, these are the teams that would have been in. I know we're going to do it. So, I mean, who is expecting to do? But in any case, the Pac 12, two top 10 teams, top 11 teams, both fall on the opening week of college football. Well, second 1A week of college football. Two, well, at least Oregon lost to number 3. But Utah to an unranked Florida team, who I could assure after tonight's game, tomorrow's standings will be in the top 25, I'm sure. I don't know what to say for him. I just don't know what to say.
I don't know why the Gators weren't ranked this year. I
Mm-hmm.
was a big supporter of them last year, but last year they had the quarterback controversy. They had the
Uh-huh.
horrible coach that just needed to go. He
Mm-hmm.
refused to start AR-15, who we're gonna just call Mini Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forget. It was
On his
one
back.
game last year where the Gators was down by like 4 touchdowns, and he brought them all the way back and won the game. It was like week 3, and he didn't get to start the next week. But now he's finally starting. You saw that last play, where he threw that last touchdown.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, AR-15 is a problem.
I mean,
We may
it's
be
like you
talking
said.
about Heisman for him in a couple
I
of
was
weeks,
about.
right?
I was just
Him and
funny. You
Bryce.
as you were saying that. It's funny as you were saying that. I was just thinking that like he may be. He may emerge 3 touchdowns rushing, 106 yards rushing, 160 yards, 68 yards passing, a QBR of 94.8. Like he did his thing against what could have been is a top ranked defense and a top ranked team, and now they're in contention. I ain't gonna say contention. It's a little early to say contention, but I'm assuring come tomorrow morning they should be in the top 25 without a doubt. Especially with
Yeah,
some of the way that some of the teams played yesterday. One of them being the Cougars, the Houston Cougars, um, which almost very close to suffering the same type of fate in which um, Utah suffered. Houston taking on the UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. We all know UTSA yesterday came on the scene when they had a pretty good beginning of the season. The last couple of games of the season they faltered, and of course losing their bowl game. But for the most part, they was in there, and that's what saying put them in a position. UTSA took on the Houston Cougars in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, but they weren't able to pull it out. However, they did put up a scrapping of a fight. The Houston Cougars winning 37-35 in a triple overtime game. Um, Houston quarterbacks Tune 22 for 32, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 82.3 QB rating. Harris of the UTSA Roadrunners 28 of 43, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception with a QBR of 73.75. Of course, just like most quarterbacks, the difference 8 carries for 63 yards plus 1 touchdown by Harris. Tune 15 carries for 51 yards, 1 TD. Cephas for the UTSA receivers, 7 receptions, 106 yards, 1 TD. Franklin, 10 receptions, 100 yards, no touchdowns. And of course for Houston, Dale, 5 receptions, 50 yards, 2 TDs, and Manjack for the fourth, 3 receptions, 42 yards, and 1 touchdown to go along. I thought Houston was going to be out there, Ron. I just knew that Bishop was going to get this prediction, and we would have to hear about it, talk about he's the GOAT and how he knew all this type of stuff. So I was in my mind. I was like, this is what we're going to have to put up with, but it didn't happen. UTSA wasn't able to pull it out, but it was close. Houston would have been one of those teams. I'm very sure would have fell out. Would basically definitely without reasonable doubt would have set the tone for Florida to get into the top 25. But of course, it can happen, Ron. And now we have it to where Houston's probably going to move up or maybe stay same, but Florida will get in. What else do we have here?
I guess we can get to the game of the week.
Which one would you call the game of the week?
Michigan,
Last
baby.
night. Last night.
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Okay, yeah. Matter of fact, I did have that one queued up. Where did I put it at? Okay. Ooh. So I would say 1A, 1B, because last night the game I think was a pretty good game. I wonder what tonight's game is going to produce. But just as Ron stated, I know he was pulling for just no different if I probably was pulling for additionally, because I would have had liked to see another top 10 team fall that basically makes it our situation better. Which actually a top 10 team did fall. Ohio State in the shoe faced off against Notre Dame, in which it looked like it was going to be. It was pretty. Looked like a pretty big good game. But in-state is Ohio State gets the W, 21-10 over Notre Dame. CJ Stroud, 24 for 34, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevion Henderson, 15 carries for 91 yards, no touchdown. Williams, 14 for 84 with a touchdown. Difference makers. Egbuka, 9 receptions, 90 yards, 1 touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 receptions for 56 yards. But all this without their top receiver, and we have to keep that in mind. What do you think of the game, Ron? Well, I know, of course, you would prefer to have win another way. I don't know, maybe not.
Oh no, I freaking love this game. I love
Okay.
Ohio State coming out and looking boo boo. Similar to the Oregon game, they were plus
Uh-huh.
17. Notre Dame was plus 17 to cover the spread, and I'm just like, Notre Dame is
Digging Keffer.
is the nerd in the class, the one that's always there that ain't gonna show up. You can never count on them for anything. And they came up there and handled business. They played a great game. Their defense looked great against this firepower of Ohio State. Or how do you see it? Was it a lapse in Ohio State's offense, or was Notre Dame's defense just that ready? Because going up into Ohio and coming out 21-10 is a great loss to
That
start the
is a
year.
great loss. And then additionally, when they look at it, even CJ Stroud himself basically said that the defense had to basically police him up and pick him up because he basically was
Yeah,
sputtering. So it was definitely
I
a
think
situation to where
that's
they had to.
really the only thing we learned this game, from my perspective, is that Notre Dame got deep.
Yeah, that's insane. So and even they even said the same thing. He basically discussed and talked about how for the most part that they're not able to basically it was an ugly game for them. But they, of course, in my opinion, flipping it. We always find a way. People always tend to find a way to flip things. From his acclamation is that they needed that ugly game to basically go ahead and continue on uh, for the rest of the year. That ugly game was needed. It just came against a top opponent. I don't know.
Hmm.
Should Notre Dame have been number 5? But of course,
No, no. Why are they ranked higher than Michigan? It's atrocious. I can't wait till we come bully them boys. I love the way they look. Oh man, y'all think Notre Dame's defense is the problem? Okay, okay, Mr. C.J. Stroud. Wait till you come see that big blue, because we look just as good as Bama, Trey. You neglecting to talk about my Michigan
no,
Wolverines.
it's funny that you say that because as you were saying that, I had already queued them up. As we know, Ron's maize and blue, the Michigan Wolverines took on a lesser type of talent in Colorado State,
Without a doubt.
in which Michigan gets the W in grand fashion, getting the W, 51-7 over the Colorado State Rams. Milling for the Rams, 16 for 20, 137 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Obviously, that's they can make a difference. McNamara, 9 for 18, 136 with 1 touchdown. Bowman, 5 for 6 with 40 yards. It just got to the point. McCarthy, JJ McCarthy, 4 for 4, 30 yards. It didn't really make a difference. Michigan just started putting in people. A rushing attack was on full scale. Corum 13 for 76 for 1 touchdown. Edwards 12 carries for 64 yards, 1 touchdown. J. McCarthy 3 carries for 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, if that's he said 51 points, and that's only and then Orgy had 2 carries for 4 yards on the touchdown. That's only when you look at that. That's only a total of five. I mean, 5 touchdowns. We know there was a pick six. Was it a pick six? Hold up.
Don't.
No, I stand corrected. It wasn't a pick six. It was plenty of interceptions though. And then Wilson, 2 receptions, 65 yards, 1 touchdown, in a complete and utter romping. Michigan taking care of business. Like I said, it was Colorado State, but I mean, they came, they showed up. If they would have got the dub, we would be having a different conversation. So we can't change the conversation for them. Um, was you impressed by your Michigan Wolverines out in there, Ron?
Thoroughly. I think their motto and movement was we can officially be the underdogs. Ever since we got hammered by Georgia, man, that
Mm.
was a bad game, Trey. That was a rough game. You think about that one for a while, but we just got thrown under the table. Now Ohio State is just this much better than us. 6 spots better than us? Oh, come on. And the most impressive thing, we know the defense is going to bring it. Well, actually, our defense was supposed to take a hit because we had just as much players as Georgia roll out, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I was so excited. No matter if we're playing Colorado State or whatever, they shut them boys down.
Mm-hmm.
And I even liked our quarterback. No, he's no Caleb Williams, of course, but McNamara was okay.
Yes.
Threw a couple bombs, started the game
Hey,
1 for 5,
McNair.
cleaned it up. We got a double quarterback battle. Um, which he kind of talked about, but don't nobody really care what you got to say. You ain't shown improved nothing yet. So come on
Hmm.
and keep doing it, despite the fact that he feels insulted that he had to battle against another player.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, but you know, what I'm saying obviously it's pretty good to have a barrel of riches at a certain position, just in case someone goes down. You have someone else to step up and pull up and get the job done. Um, who Michigan?
Hmm.
Who's Michigan's next game? Who y'all got next?
Let's check the
Uh,
schedule.
let me see. Y'all have y'all next game. Oh, wait, hold up. Did I just see what I thought I seen?
Hawaii.
Oh my goodness.
We
Yes,
going to
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Another 60-7 win.
If that, probably more than that. Um so
Great
yeah,
scheduling.
so
Great scheduling.
y'all don't even really play nobody till let's see, I got
Mm,
UConn after that, Maryland on the 24th, Iowa on the
Jesus.
first. Like,
Jesus.
goodness, y'all is it's like Christmas for y'all. Man,
Indiana. When do we have a
Indiana,
ranked game? Penn
Penn
State.
State.
Penn State should be ranked by that week. That'll be our
If
first good
if
start.
not Michigan, the current number 15 to be on the 29th. So that's what basically what you have. Like y'all, it's just candy until y'all get to Ohio State potentially. Unless I was hot by the time y'all get to them. Goodness. Penn State. So the only opposition y'all really face is potentially Iowa, maybe Penn State, depending on Michigan, and then of course a battle in the state battle with Michigan State. And then yeah, so
Uh,
Michigan
um,
Michigan is in
until
good
until
position.
USC get here, it's just gonna be Ohio State and little brother
Eh,
Michigan and everybody else. Because
Goodness
Michigan is
gracious.
finally rolling.
Yeah, I see.
Harbaugh has been at
Mhm.
this program. What's this? His fifth year. He's finally. This is all him. This is all him, and it's a beautiful product. It is.
Mm. Other
Because despite
games that
Georgia
could
being the national champions, 5 more seconds on Michigan. Trey. 5 more Michigan.
go ahead. Take your time. Take your
Second,
time.
despite Georgia winning the championship and whooping our tail, we
Hmm.
also had championship hangover, Trey. We won our championship last year. After we beat Ohio State, I was done with college football. I could die peacefully.
Oh
Um
yeah, because yeah, yeah, I can completely understand. We as you, if
yeah,
anyone pays
so
attention, yeah.
I'm excited to see this second round. And I think we're gonna end up being better than Ohio State. I don't believe in CJ. We'll see.
So of course,
We'll see.
yesterday, saying again, shout out to Michigan, number 8. I should be moving up with the top number
Finally.
with the maybe. Well, it's probably a little presumptuous to say to the top 8. We know for a fact they're moving up to the top 7, maybe number 6. Maybe I don't know. I think they're guaranteed at least to move up to the number 7. Maybe number 6, depending on how everyone else, how they look at how everyone else. Who was number 6? Let me see. Who was Alabama
Texas
one? Ohio State.
A&M.
Oh, okay, they won clearly and utterly. So Ohio State,
Uh,
Oregon. I mean, now you foresee a situation with Georgia jumping Ohio State?
Ohio State shouldn't even be top 6, but Georgia should be easily number 1. I don't know what we're doing. They're the reigning champs. It makes no sense to have them at 3. Bama as 1 and Ohio State 2. What?
Mm. And you might have
I
me
guess if
right,
they
Ron.
basing,
Maybe Oregon, maybe Georgia
yeah,
does jump up to number 1, and Alabama falls to number 2. And maybe Ohio State dropping to
nope.
number 3, or even taking Alabama over. Well, I doubt it. We know Notre Dame's going to fall off for number 5.
After
So
this week, I believe Texas A&M has to be top 4.
has to be top 4.
Yeah, we didn't talk about them yet, but maybe.
Yeah. So it maybe Texas A&M will, depending upon what Clemson does tonight.
That's only because everybody been talking about them going to the playoffs. Everybody been making that's the wild card. I'm jumping on the bandwagon.
You
Starting
get
it.
on the bandwagon, flowing with it. Of course, last night, Texas
They ain't think
A&M
about it.
pitching a goose egg. Texas A&M defeats Sam Houston State 31-0. Uh, Sam Houston State quarterback 14 for 28 for 91 yards, one interception. Texas A&M 20 for 31, 364 yards, three touchdowns, two interceptions, a 49.1 QB rating. Doesn't look too good. Johnson in relief 3 of 4 for 23 yards. A Kane 18 carries for 42 yards, one touchdown. What's to say? Aeneas Smith with six receptions, 164 yards, two touchdowns. Brown 2 receptions for 68 yards and one touchdown, leading the Texas A&M Aggies, who are currently a number 6 ranked team. Like I said, Sam Houston tried to put up a fight, but it just wasn't there. Yates also 14 carries for 60 yards. Um, his top receiver for 34 receptions, 35 yards, no touchdowns. Of course, when you look at the fact that it was a shutout for Texas A&M, a good showing
Yeah,
maybe. Of course, they do have one of the top ranked recruiting classes, so you wouldn't expect anything less. Uh,
they're
Now,
gonna be
basically,
our
the wild card.
Oh, I was saying they're gonna be our favorite team to watch
Oh
going
yeah,
forward for the next couple of weeks because of their schedule, and I feel like they're top four. They're gonna have a chance to prove it. They got Miami, Arkansas, and Alabama
oh
all
yeah.
within the
See,
next 3 weeks.
and then Mississippi, yeah. So they, if they can pull that, oh, and that leads up even to them playing. They play Alabama on the 8th of December. So if they can get through their schedule, then 17th against currently number 16 Miami. Uh, then the
That's
game
gonna be
after that.
lightning.
Then the game after that is with the currently number 19. They did get their W, so they're going to both teams going to be expected to move up. Arkansas, then a little break in between against Mississippi State, and then showdown against Alabama. Oh yes, Texas A&M
Then
in
they
prime.
still got Florida, who I believe is going to be a top 10 team.
Oh yeah, they are.
Auburn or LSU will break the top 25. Woof! They
Oh
have
yeah, this
that's the
they're
SEC for
they're
you though.
prime. They're prime ability to make some noise and be able to
And
set their own.
looking at this schedule, we can't give no shade to the SEC. This is a
Oh yeah,
powerhouse
yeah.
schedule. We need y'all to come on over. Hurry up so we can look like this. Michigan State, Ohio State, USC, then Michigan. We're gonna take over, Trey. I'm happy we can be partnering up.
I hope for a good outcome to come for this, but yes, definitely, Ron. Texas A&M is in. It look like they're in good standing, good position to make things happen for themselves. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Before we
Alabama
get
could be
to
their only loss. If any of these other games loses by playoffs, that's crazy. The urgency of the college football season.
and if it's funny you say that, let's take a look at Alabama. Though I was going to introduce you because I just think that that was a win that no one didn't expect. Uh, Alabama shuts out currently undefeated Utah State University, getting the win 55-0. Like we
Ain't
said earlier,
bad,
Bryson
Trey.
out 18 of 28, 195 yards,
Ain't
five
bad.
touchdowns, plus 5 yards on 100 yards on 5 carries with the touchdown to go. 6 total touchdowns for the young last year's Heisman Trophy winner. Um,
Back to
Jalen
back.
Rowe, 8 to 10, 76 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Simpson, 1 for 2, 10 yards. For Utah State's Bonners, 3 for 9, 39 yards. His relief, 2 for 25, 2 for 5, 15 yards. The league is 3 for 8 with 3 yards. Just a dismal showing for the passing attack from Utah. Um, 10 carries for 28 from their top running back in Briggs. Gibbs, their next, Alabama's next running threat, Jamar Gibbs, 9 carries for 93 yards. It was just atrocious. Holding two touchdown catches on 5 yards, receiving 70 yards. Uh, we didn't expect anything less, honestly, when it comes down to the in-state. Alabama basically showing currently why they're number one at this particular time. As we said, it might get a little spicy for them at some point. Alabama got Texas next week. So depending on what Texas does tonight, we'll see what they do next week against Alabama. Then they have University of Louisiana Monroe. Uh, Vanderbilt, and then they first on the first. They face off against Arkansas, and then before their what might be a huge showdown in Texas, in Alabama versus the Texas A&M Aggies. So schedule, not a bad schedule for the Tide Road Tide. Uh, but it might not be one that they can maneuver. Do you think Texas is going to be a problem for them?
No, but it will be fun. They're favored by 21 points, 3 touchdowns.
Ah,
Uh, I would love to bet. I'm gonna stay away from
you gonna stay
that.
away from it?
I feel like Texas should be able to at least keep it within 20 today, but I, they put up Texas alone put up 60 points this past weekend, didn't they? Yeah, they're gonna be able to score. This is gonna tell us a lot about Alabama's defense. This is gonna let us know if this is another championship freaking Urban Meyer year. Not Urban Meyer, Jesus. Nick Saban.
Nick Saban.
Uh, Lord forgive me for bringing that man up. But if Alabama come out here and put pause on this 50-point Texas scoring team, what we gonna say? Like that would be almost well Oregon's lost to Georgia. That's still gonna be the biggest slacking for a while. That the way that defense looks. So it won't be as bad as that one, but it'll be up there.
Mm. Let's see what else we got. Who else we got with the slate? Texas, as Brian was just talking about, getting the win over a lesser opponent in University of Louisiana Monroe (ULM). But of course, again, as we stated, if they had got the W, it would be no different. Quinn Ewers, 16 for 24, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pulled down a 72.4 QBR. Card 4 for 5 with 24 receptions. 24 yards. ULM's Rogers was 14 for 19, 108 yards, 1 interception, and Hable 2 for 4, 59 yards. Robinson 10 rushing carries for 71 and a touchdown for Texas. Uh, as well as Johnson and Brooks also contributing 30 yards apiece. Johnson with 34, Brooks with 32, 1 touchdown apiece on 5 and 6 carries respectively. Like Ron said, they basically put up 52 points and over to 10. Defense wasn't looking bad. Uh, to set up basically like I said, a head-to-head showdown against Alabama this coming this week coming. Um, what you can say is Alabama's first test. And this is what you want to see: those top teams that's basically doing battle and facing off against people. Is without a doubt you want to see that, and we get to see it in the second week, like it was like we was having the cook off, well, like we was on kickoff, the kickoff weekend. Uh, but of course, it's expected number one to probably get the W. Texas should be ranked by the time they face off. They might be another team to get into the top standings. Uh, so it remains to be seen. We will see how that goes next week, next Saturday, Alabama versus University of Texas Longhorns. This will be the one time in which I cheer for the Longhorns.
Mm.
We still got some unfinished animosity there.
The word you chose to use.
Yeah. unfinished animosity. Um, so Bishop isn't here, which it might be a good thing for us because he might not have
But
seen
are we
anything.
finally about to talk about the Sooners?
The Sooners, boom, Sloon, as
Man,
Bishop would say if he was on right now. Face off
this game would
against
have
the
been talked about.
University of Texas. Oh yeah, he'd be like, no, what you're not going to do is face off against the University of El Paso. Ohio State Sooners took getting the W 45-13 to go 1-0 on the season. Dylan Gabriel in his debut, 15 receptions, 15 completions for 100 for off out of 23 attempts, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. His opponent, Mr. Hardison, 26 for 42, 244 yards. Brown Holtz, 5 of 8, 44 yards in the one interception. Um, Eric Gray for the Oklahoma, 16 carries for 102 yards. Uh, Major was 7 for 54. Marcus Major 7 for 54 with 2 touchdowns, and Freeman 1 for 46 and on 1 touchdown. As well, Dylan Gabriel 6 for 20 as he contributed with a touchdown on the ground as well. 45 points. Do you think that is that formidable, Ron, against UTEP, or do we think it's just now they're just getting started? It's just going. They're just going to build.
If Trey was here, we would have called it nothing. But we've been clowning him and the Sooners all summer. He been telling us how good they gonna be. All these games that he done made up that they gonna win. I wasn't just a little impressed. I was highly impressed,
Mm-hmm.
Trey. Highly impressed. For Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Can't even believe they coming out from Oklahoma. Excuse me.
Of course, next week the Oklahoma Sooners face off against Kent as they get ready. They really don't play anyone until the Red River shootout in on the 8th of October. Well, no, they might. They have the 10th. They have Kent State. On the 17th, they have Nebraska at Nebraska. Then they have they come home on the 24th and play Kansas State, and then go travel to TCU on the 1st before taking on Texas in a Red River shootout on the 8th of October. Um, I don't know. I think they have a loss somewhere between before they get to Texas. If not, then maybe Texas, depending on what happens, might go like
Wow.
I just do.
Wow. It's gonna be on the road against Nebraska.
So
If
this is
your
why
prediction is true.
you know why I say that I would agree with you in a sense because I think at some point at this point Scott Frost's seat is piping hot. He's like it's like he's a Little Caesar in a Little Caesar heating bin, and he's going to have to do whatever he can to get a W. And what maybe potentially could save his job, or at least stave off a firing, is him getting a W against against Oklahoma on the 17th, altering their
Yeah.
whole existence with a W on the 17th. That I think that's
Oh,
the Scott
goodness.
Frost that helps Scott Frost. All he has to do is get a W on the 17th, and he might save his whole year. They might be like, you know what, it's the only game you won, but you won it. So it remains to be seen. Uh, but like I said, again, Oklahoma's expected to move up with those teams losing ahead. Number 7 winning, losing. Number 5 losing. Uh, I expect them to move up. It should be at least number 7 by the end of the by tomorrow morning. Um, who else did we have? Who else did we have before we get to the last night's game? Of course, we're going to talk about none other than them Dun, 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 dun. Y'all know what it is. Them USC Trojans getting the
Oh
win over Rice 66-14. As I just knew they was going to get that 72 point, but they had to call off the dogs. Caleb Williams 19 for 22, 249 yards passing, 2 touchdowns thrown for a 95.2 QB rating. Miller Moss, then back up 6 for 7 for 81 yards. Caleb Williams also contributed with 6 carries for 68 yards. Uh, for Rice, Green with 8 for 13, 69 yards, 1 interception. McMahon 6 for 15, 65 yards, 3 interceptions. Um, does USC defense, Ron? USC
man.
defense, 6 pick 6, won the first return for 93 yards.
It
Uh,
looks like y'all decided just to start wide receivers at DB this year.
so what I don't want to do, Ron, and I don't want to get a false sense of security and believe that this is just what we're going to be, because in-state is we played against Rice. Yes, they're a team in the FBC of FBS, but they're Rice. We're USC, completely different. So I don't want to sit up and fall for that false sense of security, because honestly, of course, they were outmatched, and it was overwhelming. But still, those are reps that we needed, and look forward to them playing uh, their next in Stanford, which we always seemingly have a problem with Stanford. And then we start to just get better. We start with division in play. We have Stanford, Fresno State, and then of course after Fresno State, um, we start to play our own division. The Beavers, Arizona State, and it's just all Pac-12 from there until we get to Notre Dame at the end of the season, um, which they're currently number 5. We know they're going to fall from that. Um, and then of course, uh, what this year, because we don't have any divisions anymore. We basically play who's the best team in the division, in the conference. The top 2 teams. Or let me not be too presumptuous. The top 2 teams in the conference play each other for the Pac-12 championship this year. Currently, USC is the number 1 team in the Pac-12. So we remain to be seen how that's going to go. I think Oregon State is maybe the next one, because Oregon lost, uh, Colorado lost. I think
It's
even
gonna be
UCLA
y'all,
lost.
Oregon.
So we'll see how it pans out. But
How tough
shout out
is
to
the
the
rest of Oregon's
Trojans.
schedule?
Shout out to the road Oregon. I mean to the Oregon's. What is Oregon's schedule? Because we don't play Oregon this year. We do not play Oregon this year. They're not on our schedule.
What?
Oregon's rest of
How
Oregon's.
how is Oregon and USC not put against together? Y'all are in the same division, aren't y'all?
No, they're in the north. Yeah, there's no divisions now, but they were in the north. So I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
because, yeah, I think because of course we only can play because we don't play Oregon and we don't play Washington. We don't play Washington either. We don't play Oregon or Washington this year.
Yeah, I got
Which
Utah.
yeah, we don't play Utah either. Oh no, I think
Man,
we do play Utah. Let's see. Oregon has Eastern Washington next week. Then they got BYU, Washington State, Stanford, Arizona, UCLA, Cal, Colorado, Washington, the Utes, and then finish it off with the Oregon State game.
all easy games up until Utah. Well, I don't want to say easy games, but winnable games.
Yeah, it might have been Georgia might have just been a wake up call for them. It's just like, okay,
Hopefully,
everyone.
because if it was a gut punch that just sent them spiraling down this season. I could see. Well, no, they play BYU at home, so I won't do that to them.
Yeah, that
I know
might
they're
be
gonna
exactly.
battle against Stanford because they always battle against Stanford. Um, I could see UCLA catching them. That's another potential one. Utah. I mean, I can still only see three more losses for them at the most and
Mm.
stretching it.
And
Yeah,
USC
they're
does
gonna.
play Utah. They play on the 15th of October.
Okay, praise the Lord. I was like, they gotta make y'all play somebody, Trey.
Yeah, that's who we play. We got them on the 14th.
Who's
We
y'all
got them on
toughest game of the year?
the probably that game. It'd probably be that one.
Utah.
Yeah, I think
Embarrassment.
it'll be Utah. I think Utah will be the toughest game
Now I gotta go to y'all schedule because if y'all don't go undefeated, we're gonna have problems.
because we got Stanford next week, which is going to be a tough game just from years previously. Fresno, Oregon State, Arizona State, Washington State, then Utah, Arizona, Cal, Colorado, UCLA, and Notre Dame.
Yeah,
So
y'all
let's
need to
see. I
get up
think
out of there. Y'all need to get up out of there. That's ridiculous. I'm not looking forward to any of y'all games. I ain't even
no.
gonna be able to watch Caleb unless Utah rebound. Oregon
Yeah,
State could be spicy. Wow. You're gonna have fun. It's gonna be more pick sixes in store. You
so,
said Rice wasn't y'all level of competition.
nah, they wasn't.
Y'all favored to win by 9 against USC. Early Vegas predictions.
So that's. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I can rock with that. But then again, that's a slippery slope, like you just said, because it's like then when you come up against somebody, if your players ain't locked in, then you have a false sense of like, oh, we just that
Security.
team security. Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. It's that false sense of security, and now it's like you come up against a Utah or you get caught slipping um by Arizona or Cal, and then you walk into Notre Dame because we go, oh, where they come, Notre Dame comes to us this year. Oh no, yeah, they come to us. Notre Dame comes to us this year.
That'll be fun if Notre Dame won the rest of the games. Let's see. Marshall, California, North Carolina, BYU, Stanford, UNL. Oh, they got Clemson too. Jeez. So Clemson and then y'all. That's Notre Dame's next toughest ones.
Yes, here for it.
I feel. Why is Clemson number 4 again, Trey? I feel like Notre Dame gonna win that one.
Against Clemson,
Yep, that's November 5th.
and
NBC.
we get to see what Clemson has to offer tonight as they take on Georgia Tech tonight for the last game. Hence the reason why we don't know what the standings are because they still have their game to play. As a number 14, Georgia Tech we know is atrocious and atrociously known for. That's probably the wrong term of word, but they're known for using that triple threat, that triple option, being a predominantly run-based or team, in which I'm very sure Clemson is ready for that. So hopefully Georgia Tech just stick to what they know, and they try to pull a couple of other things out of their hat to make it a game. Hopefully, and playing in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Georgia Tech, you at home for the most part. You're the home team. Like y'all should show up. Don't let Clemson just run roughshod over you. Um, Additionally, um, what we have, of course, coming up, last night's game. Lastly, in this conversation, possibly before we might get up out of here, leaving on early day, so everyone can get to their Labor Day festivities. Um, Florida State was at LSU yesterday, in which wasn't looking too promising initially for the for them Tigers. Uh, but matter of fact, we just let the stats speak for themselves a little bit. Florida State, Jordan Travis was 20 for 32, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, for a 68 for 86.1 on the QBR. Florida State's Jaden Daniels, 26 for 35, 209 yards passing with 2 TDs, 84.3 QBR. Daniels also contributed with 16 yards, 114 yards rushing, 16 carries for 114 yards rushing. Kane, 7 for 23 with a touchdown. Goodwin, 5 for 14. On Florida State, you had running back, Treshaun Ward, 8 for 31. Span, 2 for 20. Benson, 6 for 15. Um, Ontario Wilson had 4. Florida State had, had 7 receptions, 102 yards, as well as 2 touchdowns. For the top receiver for LSU was Jeray Jenkins, led their receiving core with 5 receptions, 46 yards, 2 touchdowns. Thomas Jr. 5 for 44, Taylor 5 for 42, and Neighbors 5 for 34. In which if you watch the game and paid attention to the game, it was just it was bad defense, some bad calls here and there, as Jim Kelly came out and stated that they just need to coach better. Additionally, what else? Everything else in which you've seen was basically it was over. It should have been over for LSU, but of course, after a fumble, it was it looked like it was going to be over. It just looked like the only thing that had to happen, Florida State just needed to waltz into the end zone to basically secure the win. And what do? They fumble on the 1 yard line, giving the ball back to LSU with seconds on the clock, in which they go down 3 quick strikes. They put themselves in score position, down by 1 point, with the opportunity to tie it to send it to overtime. And special teams shows up, getting the block and surrendering that potential W. We don't know what the outcome would have been had LSU made that extra point, but it didn't happen. Right side gets through, gets the handle of the block. Actually, it looked like it's about 3 or 4 people that could have got the block. But what did happen was it was blocked with the waning seconds of the end of the game, and basically giving the other Florida State their second win of the season. Florida State now 2-0 on the year, defending LSU. Ron, do you think Florida State gets into the top 25 this week?
That's the this is wild. This Florida State being 2-0. That's the upset of the week. That's the upset of the week for me.
I
I
think it
would
was a close
never,
game.
ever pick Florida State to beat LSU on the road after these past couple of years they had. I'm all state Louisiana kickoff. Florida State came in there, upset it. Congrats to them boys.
Florida State's next couple of games, which kind of shapes it for them in a sense. Florida State's next game versus Louisville. Then after that, they got Boston College. Then after that, they got Wake Forest. Then after that, they got North Carolina State. And then after that, they got Clemson. That's a gauntlet of 3 ranked teams currently in which they run into. Wake Forest is 22. North Carolina State is number 13. And, of course, currently Clemson is number 4. Now, we don't know what they'll be at that point, but that's a gauntlet. If they can maneuver this, Ron, I think Florida State puts themselves in a pretty good position. And then after that, they still have Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Miami. Of course, at the end of the year, on the 25th, they have a face-off against Florida, who's expectedly going to be ranked by that time. Florida State look like they might put themselves in a good shape. They might be. They just got to continue with the same energy that they got now. 2-0 with a even though they probably should have lost against LSU, but they didn't. In-state is, and now they put themselves in the position without a reason, without people sleeping on Florida State. Florida State shocking the world this weekend.
Yeah, Florida's back. And Miami. Can we throw Miami in there?
Miami, you're
I
right.
wasn't
You're so right.
expecting them to come out and win like that. All of Florida showing out. Hey, we see y'all. Wow, college football is the place to be in Florida. What
Without
other
a doubt.
city or state will be better to be in right now if you're a college football fan? No matter where you go, if you want to hang out with some college football people, you're gonna be turning up.
Yeah, you gonna turn up in Florida. You trying to go to Florida? Like I'm trying to go anywhere. If we going to where we going to Gainesville, you going to Miami? Where you going? Where we pulling up
We
at?
going to the swamp, baby. Well,
Now, of
no,
course, now,
them boys in
but
Miami be having some fun
Bethune Cookman. I mean, they played Bethune Cookman, but again, they're a team. I always say, even though I may say they are a team, but Florida, number 16 ranked. I'm sure they're going to move up as well, probably within the top 15. Number
Why do I?
16 ranked. Go ahead.
I was about to say something wild. I said, why do I feel like playoffs? But then I said, slow down, Ron, slow down. But they play Texas A&M week 3, Trey. So we'll find
Oh,
out very soon.
oh, it's going to get nasty. See, and that's what you want. You put it as this. If they can continue on, uh, Cristobal, going there, and he's doing what he got to do. You got to think where Miami was. And now Cristobal there, he's doing his thing. Even though I mean, like I said, we don't want to, like you said, we want to slow down. Don't want to be too presumptuous because we know that it's one game, but 70 points, even though it was against Bethune Cookman, it was still 70 points. Like they might not score 70 points on Texas A&M, but number 16 is currently 1-0, a couple of weeks from facing top ranked Texas A&M. That's going to be probably, I'm very sure that's where College Game Day is going to pull up to November 17th. I mean September 17th. Before
Wow.
they play Bethune Cookman, I think they got who they play University of Southern Miss.
I'm pretty sure you already said it, but looking at Texas A&M stats again, Anaya Smith, we may have a future baller at wide receiver. 6 catches, 164, 2 touchdowns. I'm be following him in Texas A&M.
When it comes to in-state, Ron, it's just
Well, never
not
mind. They
only
played
is
Sam Houston again.
not only is football back, but college football is back roaring. I wonder, does Clemson and Georgia Tech show us anything tonight? I know what we couldn't expect in-state is, but we don't know. Like I said, the triple option could be hard to defend sometimes. And Clemson is a number 4 ranked team, which means they have a bunch of players coming back. That's going
How much you think
to
Clemson favored by?
Clemson, I think, is favored by. Let me take a wild guess because I ain't see the odds.
Make it very wild. I give you a hint. It's a lot.
48.
48. No, they
Yeah.
favored by 48 points, but it's close. They favored
Really?
by 24.
24. I was like, because UCLA,
3 touchdowns in the field goal.
USC was favored by 32. So I was like, I would have
Oh
thought,
my!
but okay.
I could see it being like 50-0. If it's wow, you think Georgia's that bad? That's what that says.
Yes, that trip. It's just a triple option, man. It's like it could be work. It could work, but and what I keep on thinking about is like, do I want to see this game? Like, do I want to see a triple option the whole night? Like that's. But I mean, when it's perfected, it's pretty potent. Oh, you know what? Funny thing. When you said the odds, I turned $2 into $56 yesterday. I don't know what I bet
No,
on.
you did.
Yeah, yes, I
Oh
did.
my
I don't
gosh.
know what it was that I placed the wager on, but it hit. I think I had a parlay too. I think I had a 5-leg
Mm.
parlay, but it was the $2 that whatever I don't know what I bet it on, but it was that $2 that so basically I turned $5 into 56. That's what happened.
Mm. I hit on my college parlay this past weekend. So we doing this thing, Trey, where we gonna make one solid bet together as a team, CJ and I, sports and
Mhm.
shenanigans, every week for college football and NFL, see if we can make some money.
Mhm.
Putting our minds together. We put 3 teams in a parlay,
Mhm.
and hit them off. Florida over
Oh,
Utah.
that was a gamble.
Yes. Yeah, that was our game of the week. Felt very sexy about that. Our second one was Georgia to win by only 11.
Mhm.
But then we put Ohio State on there as well with Notre Dame to win by 11. And that's literally what they won by. So we didn't win no money on
Yes,
that.
just
Yeah, Ohio State
even,
pissed me off.
even.
I'm like 21 points. CJ, Ohio, 21 points against Notre Dame. Now we gotta talk about potential Notre Dame's defense. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. That's the last thing I wanted to do. Is have a
Well,
false sense of security, as you say, for Notre Dame.
yeah, that's what you don't want to fall
We
into a
do it
sports
every
fact.
year. Are they Cowboys of college football?
The Cowboys of college football. That is a great analogy. That is a pretty
Oh,
great
Notre
analogy.
Dame.
So, of course, as we know, with that, that's the end of college football for week one. Like I said, tonight game, of course, Georgia Tech hosting Clemson, ACC action, and then of course with that tomorrow morning we should be able to have a conversation in reference to the standings going for this first week. So with that, you already know what's coming up next. Thursday night football, first broadcast, first broadcast on Prime TV Thursday night on Prime.
And his own pride.
The Buffalo Bills facing off against the defending
I get to
Super
watch my
Bowl
team.
champions, Los Angeles Rams,
Oh
although
my
they are
god.
without some key pieces, but they restocked and retooled themselves. That defense is probably going to make some noise. We get to see the comeback of the current Triple Crown winner. Do we see a Triple Crown back to back? I don't know. Do we
Mm-mm.
see? Do we see a breaking of the record? I don't know.
Mm-mm.
That would mean
I,
Stafford will have to outplay. You know what? For Stafford to do that, he has to have. And Ron, tell me if you believe it, if you agree or not. For Stafford to put Cooper Cup in position to do that, he would have to have a MVP laden season for Cooper Cup to be in position to be the Triple Crown winner back to back, as well as break those receiving records he just barely missed last year. Without Van Jefferson and without Odell Beckham Jr. in tow.
it's it's very plausible that it can happen. Only because the Rams have so many weapons. But Cooper Cup ain't even my favorite receiver on my team no more. How crazy is that? Y'all better watch out for McCutcheon.
McCutcheon?
Unsigned, undrafted. Oh my gosh. He's like 6'6", just shoo, right down the field. We got him, Cooper Cup, and Allen Robinson. Not to mention
Mm-hmm.
the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Odell.
He be.
Please come back. Please don't go to Buffalo. Don't go to Green Bay. I wouldn't mind if you went to Kansas City. If you want to play with Mahomes, I could not be mad at you. That would be sexy, Trey. Would it not? Odell
Odell,
with Patty Mahomes. I wouldn't be
I
mad.
I would just prefer him come to San Francisco, honestly.
See, you try to be selfish. Okay, Odell. Everybody wants you, baby. Shoot, come on. But if we get him back as our fourth wide receiver, but the thing about it with the Rams is Coach McVay prefers to run the ball. Everybody's seen
Mm-hmm.
what he did with Todd Gurley.
And
Cam
now you
Akers
got
is fully healthy. I
Ed
would
Henderson.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, I would be more shocked if Cooper Cup had a better season than Cam Akers. We can be from anywhere 14, 1,600 yards, a top five running back easily. If he stays healthy, he's top five easily. That's what we want to do.
But do you think that everyone now see? I mean, if they didn't know about Cooper already, then it was a problem. But do you now think that because now that everyone has seen, like, yo, this dude can be a seriously problem, everyone is checking for him. They see him coming now.
Coach McVay is a master of the chessboard, bro. Outside
Okay.
of Belichick, how many coaches are we going to put in? Belichick? Will we put Tomlin above him?
Yes. Well,
Okay, that was
it's
that.
hard to say. It's hard to say because Tomlin hasn't won. Yes, he has 15
Yeah,
straight
your
winning seasons, but when's the last time he won the Super Bowl?
your
McVay done
pause,
been to
your pause was
two.
all I needed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's been to
woo,
two.
that part, that part.
He's been to two
Who
in
I
the
can't think of
last
any
5
coach
years.
that been to two Super Bowls in the last 10 years. Pete
Hmm.
Carroll's been to two in the past 10. Is that it? Pete Carroll,
Outside, yeah,
Belichick.
that's it. And McVay with
Dang.
with golf, like at that, like,
Yeah.
well,
So
no,
I
Harbaugh
feel
been to two. Harbaugh's been to two as well. No, he's been to one. He's just been to one. So yeah, it's
yeah,
McVay.
they both went to that one. It's a brother bowl. That was fun. Uh, I feel like McVay, Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford connection is gonna be like, Batman pulling out the green stuff for Superman. What's that called? The
Kryptonite.
kryptonite.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it's only gonna be used sparingly. I think he's gonna be trying to fit in and feel and get so many other things incorporated. He's gonna overthink himself, of course. We're gonna have some games where we look like what's going on, but I don't think it's gonna come to Thursday night against Buffalo. But it's way too many weapons on the Rams team.
And that's additionally with and it's funny that you say that because on the opposite side of the ball, when you look at, I mean, opposite side of the field, when you look at Buffalo, everyone is checking for Gabriel now. So I don't think hence the reason why in a lot of in all the leagues in which I was drafted in, I didn't go after Gabriel because I think now it's like, okay, yes, he shows up in one game in which they end up losing, and we don't get to see him again after that game. So we haven't seen him since his breakout game. He didn't have a breakout season. He had a breakout game. We have not seen him since his breakout game. And so now I that's a little pause for me. Like I'm not. I mean, Stephon Diggs, of course,
The
garners some work.
shame.
I was just saying, like it's like at this point, like we know
Okay.
we know what y'all had in Van Jefferson. We know Van Jefferson could potentially be a problem. He was starting to show that with him being on the same field as or Odell and Cooper. So knowing that who Allen is or what he did in Chicago, you could expect that he's going to be a problem in Los Angeles. Now, saying of course you look at okay, that means more of the same thing for Jefferson. So I took a look at Jefferson a couple times this year as I was drafting and thinking like, okay, do I want to pick up Jefferson? But for Gabriel as a number two, I don't know. Um, what's his name? Is it there no more? Who was there? He used to play for Dallas. Oh, his name slips me at this time. Uh, the old slot for Buffalo, who's not there anymore. He's not even in the NFL currently.
Oh, you talking about little white dude?
Yeah, he's not there
I
anymore.
know
He's
what
not
you're
there
talking about.
anymore.
Beasley.
Beasley, yeah, Cole Beasley. Beasley isn't there no more. So so he's not. It's not like he's eating up intermediate passes and eating and working the middle and stuff like that. So he's not there anymore. Like so
I
I don't
really hate
know.
that they didn't address their run game. Buffalo. I, I
You don't
I
think
was
they
gonna
did?
ask you.
You don't think they
I
did?
don't think they got any major offensive linemen this offseason.
Okay, well,
They
yeah, you're
didn't.
correct.
They still have Singletary at running back. I think they kind of just was like, "Hey, we got Josh Allen. No one can stop him when he runs anyway." Which I have to be quiet when that's the point because he's gonna rush and rush and rush. They don't need a running back, but I really wish they had a good running back, Trey,
I thought they
in a
picked up a
run game.
couple. I think they picked up. I thought they did pick up a player. Someone else. Let me see. Let me go to Buffalo. I thought.
They're a one trick pony. They're gonna go five wide with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is either gonna run or pass.
Okay, that's what they did. They picked up. So they have. I think did they release Duke? They have Duke Johnson, Singletary. They have James Cook, Rasheem
And them
Blackshear.
trade when them
So,
trade rumors was
Zach
going
Moss.
around that the Buffalo Bills was about to trade for Christian McCaffrey trade, I almost blew a freaking gasket. I don't know how
I dare.
nobody didn't steal Chris away again. It's wild that nobody went after Christian McCaffrey this all season, but that's
He has Christian McCaffrey has to show and prove that he is a full back. Because you got to think that man for a second he was the highest paid running back in the league. So now that's what
right.
basically he has to sit up and show and prove. Like I can stay healthy, I can be from Atlanta, and I can sit up and produce for your or
Right.
help your offense produce, and that's why no one ain't touching him. Or else,
And
that's
that's why
that's
Buffalo was the perfect place because he wouldn't have to rush more than 12, 13 times a game. Most of the time, he's going to be like moving around because
he's a
Josh Allen's
decoy.
going to run 10
Yeah.
times a game.
And he still has a backup in Devin Singletary. So yeah, so maybe it wouldn't have been a bad selection. Actually, I think they did get rid of. I think they released Duke Johnson. Yeah, they did release Duke Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
yeah, so
I'll still be happy watching Carolina with Baker, DJ Moore. That'll be fun. But Thursday night, let's look at what Vegas says about this game, Trey.
what Vegas talking
What I
about?
need to say. Ooh, somebody's an underdog at home, Trey. Uh-oh. Them rowdy
No,
Rams is
they ain't do it like
3-point
that, did it?
underdogs at home.
Really? Well, that's I mean
Which
3 points
really,
is
home field advantage. No, a home field advantage is a 3-point advantage. So we are underdogs at home. So they really saying Buffalo gonna beat us by 6 points. Do you agree?
no. I
A touchdown.
this one
It's a
this
touchdown game.
if I had to sit up and bet on this game, I would sit up and, or I would think that okay, I'm gonna lose my money no matter what I bet, whether I bet the money line, whether I bet the under over, whether I bet the odds. This is a game which you probably very slimly are going to win anything off of, depending on what you bet, unless
I
because you
disagree.
just don't
And
know.
we'll find out Friday because I feel like I'm gonna unfortunately go all in on the Rams to start the year. Why not? Get my heart broke early and get it out the way so I can stay away. But
Hmm.
I'm getting points and we at home and it's our Super Bowl opener. You telling me I could pick the Rams to lose by 3 and still win money? Give me it all day.
Mm.
This should be even. It shouldn't be anyone's favorite. I don't know, but
Do you foresee
being an
them losing at
underdog at
home?
home. Foresee us losing to the Bills to start the year off. No, it's LA. I'm pretty sure Buffalo is there right now having a great time. Um, I would hope so, cause so we have that advantage that they're coming to a party city and they're gonna be starting the season off here. So they're gonna be their focus. It's gonna be impossible to say they're 100% focused. Could you be
Mm.
100% focused starting a
Probably
week
not.
in LA, first game of the year?
Probably not. Especially with everything going. It's especially for people who just been there. Now, people who've been there before is chilling or whatever case like that. But I would think that maybe the ball has them locked in and thinking like, okay, we're not going to fall for the banana tailpipe trick. The league put us here, so I would think that possibly
Yeah.
they might be locked in and ready to go. But I
I'm
don't know.
thinking of how likely would it be if Buffalo came out here to the Rams and got embarrassed. But with our defense, we do got Jalen Ramsey. But oh my gosh, I forgot we lost Von Miller and they got Von Miller. This is a Von Miller return game. Buffalo got momentum now. He gonna be hype. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is gonna be crazy
coming
Thursday.
off the
We have
edge
no
too.
idea. That's what I was literally about to say. We lost Von Miller, which makes our pass rush weak, which we need against Buffalo, and we got the dude from Seattle. When his good thing is against the rush, which
Yeah,
Buffalo ain't
Malcolm.
gonna be rushing the ball. So Bobby Wagner is kind of just gonna be. It's gonna be interesting to see how he affects the game.
Mm.
It's gonna be wild. He gonna have to guard
That
Knox.
does that does ooh. But then
Wagner, if you can make,
that's
if you can handle Knox,
but that's just a decoy. That's just Knox running them out, taking them
yeah.
out to play, keeping them
Who you?
depending on what
So this
defenses they
is
play.
so we was just talking about Gabriel and how he's not it. Are you putting Ramsey on Gabriel or Diggs? Because one
You
of
gotta
them's
put it.
getting taken completely out.
You gotta put them on digs to the ideal
I
so
don't
he
think
slow
Ramsey could
down
take out
digs.
Diggs.
That's
Yeah,
why I
he can
said. That's why
slow
I
him
said to
down.
slow him down, and hopefully, anyone else can take Gabriel, or does Gabriel have another coming out show, or does that let because now what you presumably if you can sit up and reduce Gabriel, because we don't know what Gabriel is at this point, in my opinion, we don't know who Gabriel is, what he is. We know who Diggs is, and we know who Ramsey is. So even if they wasn't to cancel each other out, I'm sure Ramsey can slow Diggs down enough. So now, like you was just talking about is now if you can reduce Gabriel as well, you have Wagner. If you have Wagner or anyone else, because you have other don't y'all have Quinn and stuff like that that's there. Other people can take care of Knox.
Mm-hmm.
Now you allow
Yeah, I was
Wagner.
gonna say I hope their whole offensive line's ready to get punched in the mouth because I can't remember the time they played somebody as good as Aaron Donald.
Yeah, so then I didn't even think about Aaron. Now you have Aaron that's opening up the holes for Wagner. It could be a long night for Allen.
Tread lightly, Josh Allen. He gonna get a couple licks. We gonna get a ooh. We gonna get one. Oh, I can't wait.
The draws and RPOs and everything like that the ball's probably gonna try to come out with. Like he's gonna have to check that for a second. Although I think Dawson does get loose a couple of times. Maybe even Gabriel on cross routes and stuff like that. But you gotta tread very lightly, Allen, because getting around that corner, you got a thumper coming down. Like, yeah, it could be ugly for him. It could be ugly.
Rams by 7.
Ooh.
Nah, I think we win by 1 or 2 point field goal win.
Interestingly enough, as I'm looking here, I'm on NFL.com right quick, and I'm looking at what their ranking is for the teams. Interestingly enough, let me see versus ours what we did. Where did I have this one? Did I have the book? Or did I put it outside? Okay, so their number 32 are the Jets. The Jets at 32. Houston and our 30 Jets was number 30 on ours. Uh, the Houston Texans is at 31. We had them at 32. The Giants is at 30 for them. We had the Giants at 29. So I'm feeling pretty good. The Seahawks is at 29. We had them at 30. Oh, correction, 31. Detroit, they have Detroit at 28. We had them at 25. The Falcons, we both 27. Jacksonville, 26. Okay, we both have them at 26. The Chicago Bears, they have
Detroit's gonna
Chicago.
finish this year in the top 20.
They have Chicago at 25. We have Chicago at 28. Uh,
They
Pittsburgh.
have
Oh,
Chicago at 25.
yeah, they have Chicago at 25.
They know they wrong.
We had them at
That
28.
is not. That was stretched.
Pittsburgh. They have Pitt as 24. We had Pitt at 18. So this is, of course, when we start to see a separation in probably our decision. They have New England at 23. We had New England at 20. They have the Cleveland Browns at 22. We had Cleveland at 19. Whoa, this is interesting. They have San
Uh-oh.
Francisco at 21.
No, what
We
list
had
is this?
their 20 top their ranking. Let me see. Make
ESPN?
sure NFL.
Oh, okay. San Francisco's a perfect football team.
Yeah, they have
if everybody need to be fired if that happens.
21
And y'all got 2 quarterbacks. What are y'all talking about? They had San Francisco at 22?
at 21. Yeah, 21.
How do you
Uh,
feel about that? You probably
I,
just laughing it off.
that's disrespectful. We had them at 7. That's a hell of a
Right. I wanted to put them higher.
Washington football team. They have them at 24. Oh, we had them at 24. They had them at 20. Miami Dolphins at 19. They have them. We had Miami at 21. The
Okay.
Saints, woo! The Saints, they got them at 18. We
We
had
had them
the
high,
Saints at
top
we
10.
had them at 6. Yeah,
We had Saints at 6. Woo, that
yeah.
defense scary down there in New Orleans. Boy, I tell you, that's that defense.
The Eagles at 17. We had the
Oh,
Eagles at 5.
4, 5. This list is garbage. Where they got the
Uh,
Cowboys? Can we just get to the Cowboys? Is in the top 5. Throw it away. The Cowboys is top 5. Watch.
the Cowboys are number 8.
I knew it. Ridiculous. Cowboys
And
is
we
not the 8th best team in the freaking
and
NFL
we
league.
had the Cowboys at 14. Let's
That
see
was
who's their number one.
wow.
Their number one is Cincinnati. Ours was the Rams. And number 2 was Tampa Bay. Ours was 3. Tampa Bay was 3. And Buffalo was 3. And we had Buffalo at 2. Las Vegas is
That is the
4.
first time in history the Super Bowl loser is ranked the number 1 in anything. Wow. Cincinnati. They
Oh,
talking
correction. They
Cincinnati
had the
up.
round. They had the Rams at number 5. I stand corrected. So what did I say? Was that who was that then at number 2? Oh, Tampa Bay at
Dang
2. Yeah,
Super
we
Bowl
had. They have
champ.
the Rams at 5. Minnesota. They got Minnesota up there at number 7. Green Bay at 9. Kansas City 10.
So
Arizona
I
11.
want to talk about one of them top teams real quick, Trey, as you're going through the
Yes, sir.
list.
Go ahead.
You know, we like to talk about sports and athletes around here. We don't really like to talk about relationships and all of that stuff. But
Okay.
one of my favorite quarterbacks is in like a very heated debacle in his relationship because someone is very, very pissed that he came back to play football. And I did not know it was this bad. You know what I'm talking about?
Talk about Tom Brady, right?
Giselle is like I can't imagine what she's going through because women, whew, in relationships, they like to give it to them. So I'm thinking, Tom Brady, what if he just completely bursts this year? Like he falls off, and
Hence the
Tampa Bay is
reason.
like 7-10.
And see now, Ron, you see why I state that I believe Brady is not going to have that type of year. It's a 50-50. I would err on the side of caution and believe that it's going to be less
Yeah,
likely because
took half the preseason off.
yes, and you know what I'm saying, so it's you know what I'm saying a lot of that comes into play. So it's one of those things where it's other things are that are going to be prevalent in this situation. And I really think that he's going to is going to be some outside influences that are going that are also going to take precedence, or they're going to be a factor in his play. And he's not going to have those type of seasons because he's going to be hokey pokey in it all season long, where he got to take care of home, and you know, saying then she might be like, okay, I understand, and then she might be like, you know what, no, I don't, because the kids, this, like, it's a whole thing, it's a whole situation going on, and like people said, I seen a movie where it is like, it asks, he's like, I'm 45, yeah, there's some stuff going wrong, so it's different. It's just a life is going to start to hit him, and
Yeah,
he's coming back,
and
and which I
their
and his wife
offensive
has been put
line's
through a
hurt.
lot. Oh yeah, that part too. So it's like it's a whole lot of stuff that's basically going on, in my opinion, on the field, off the field, in which is going to be uh, affecting Tom Brady ultimately. And it's not one of those seasons. And the fact that he went and retired and came back out of retirement is even more so when I look at it more so the issue which he can't be 100% in. He's possibly not all 100%
Yeah.
in. And so that's
Yep,
why I
I'm
say he's
out.
not going to
I'm
have
out
that.
on them. I'm not 50-50. Sign me up for them missing the playoffs. New Orleans takes over the division. Um,
Yes, I
but
believe that too.
we'll digress. I don't believe in them, but you do know why I see them as another destination team for Odell. Rams, Kansas City, then Tampa Bay. Then I'll throw the 49ers on their fourth spot as the sexiest location for Odell.
I would hope
Can you
so.
imagine Odell, Julio, Mike Evans, and Godwin all out on the same time? And Leonard Fournette. Lord.
they need to stop that. It'd be that type of stuff where it's like, oh, this may happen. Like it doesn't need to happen. We just need we need to ensure that we secure. I would
No,
prefer to hear a
Tom
Debo.
Brady deserves that.
No,
That's how we should send Tom Brady out
a bear.
with a plethora of weapons because we've never seen him play with any Trey.
He
Who's his
just played
best
with
wide receiver of the past 10 years? Don't name a tight end. You got to think about it. That's
Mike
crazy.
Evans, Tim Brown. I mean, not Tim Brown.
You include Mike Evans in that group? Yeah, Mike Evans for 2 years. So.
2 years, true. So yeah, he has. Yeah, it's been a
And he
tight end.
really, he really been cheating on Mike Evans because Godwin been his guy, and then he was
Yeah,
having a little fling with AB. It's been all crazy in Tampa Bay.
yeah. I was about to say, yeah, true that.
Does AB come back this year? No, he's
Nah, AB is done. Well, I don't think AB could come back because now I think him and Kanye is starting that sports sports management group, so AB can't come back.
right. Their sports management group is huge. I think they signed Aaron Donald. Right. Yeah, they did. Um,
So yeah, he can't come back.
well, less toxicity for us.
Yeah, so
Good
we don't
and
have to
bad.
see this year. We don't see that. Yeah, good and bad for the
It's
most part.
bad
None
for
of
the
that.
show, but good for our product.
Yeah, basically. We don't have because we was able to make plenty of content. Oh, you know what? I don't know. AB might not disappoint. You might still be like, you know
Oh,
what?
he ain't gonna disappoint. He's still gonna be wild right. He's
Especially
gonna
when
do
someone
something
start
with
doing
it.
something or when something happens
I would,
starts happening, he's gonna be able to come on and be like, yeah. I didn't have you. We
oh,
didn't see
boy.
you last week. What do you think about? At this point, we get ready to get out here soon. But
Basketball.
what do you
I
think
knew
about?
it.
What did you say when you seen the trade go down?
Wow. 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 What just happened? We have not talked about the Cavaliers trading for anybody at all. What are they doing? This is not what Dan Gilbert does. He's out here. Dan Gilbert out here moving like Patrick Riley, just behind the scene. The last person. Like I've been hating Dan Gilbert and his team for such a long time, but this move was top tier. This is a top tier chess move and shook the league up. He honestly stole the league for the next 5 years.
Hmm. You
The
think
only
so?
thing standing in his way is Giannis, at least in the East.
Yeah, the East has just got stronger. Definitely just got stronger.
Right. The New York Knicks let the best player since Patrick Ewing slip out their hand. Their best player since Ewing. And I say better than Melo because he's like 4 years younger than Melo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's horrible for the Knicks. There's so many losers from this. Brooklyn loses. Memphis loses. New Orleans loses. Phoenix loses. All these teams that wanted to upgrade. And here we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going to have fun for a year or two, Trey. They're going to be a great second, third round exit, kind of like the Hawks last year.
Uh-huh.
But in 2 years, somebody's contracts come up. Mobley's going to be on his extension. Mitchell and Garland's going to be, finishing out their contract. And King James. So we're looking for a new home. And 6-man LeBron James on this Cleveland run. I think he would take that 6-man role.
He
Oh
removes
man,
Kevin. He
Cleveland
removes
said
Kevin Love.
right. And that might not happen. We're not saying it even has to happen, but that's what Cleveland just set themselves up for. Those possibilities. That's what they did on Thursday.
When you look at it right now, the Cleveland's who's on Cleveland's roster? You have Robin Lopez, which may or may not move the needle. Ricky Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Oroku,
It's
Dean
big man for
Wade,
them.
Jerry Allen, Raul Neto, C.D. Osman, Darius Garland, Dylan Widener, Levert, Kevin Love, R.J. Nimbrard, Lamar Stevens, and then of course you have not one but two brothers. I mean, two of the Mobleys in Isaiah Mobley and his brother Evan Mobley, in which they did damage at USC together. Here they are on Cleveland together.
I think Kevin Love and Karis LeVert gets flipped before the season starts.
mhm,
And they'll add some perimeter D. I think that's going to be their focus. But the success of Cleveland is going to come down to their big men. Because, of course, everybody's been talking about them. They were the fourth best defense last year in the NBA. Fourth best before Jared Allen got injured at like the 55 game mark. And that's kind of when they fell off. If he
mhm.
can stay healthy and Evan Mobley can step up and become that number one, quotation marks around Tim Duncan,
Mm.
they're the best team. I think we got about 2 more years before he's at
Before we see them,
anything
before the
close to
season,
Timmy. Anything close to Timmy. Because I put quotations because it's blasphemous to make that comparison, but that's what I was going to say. And he's going to be that good to be better than Giannis and Joel Embiid. I won't put them above the Sixers if Joel is healthy because he's a force. But we
it's
haven't
just
seen that
hopes.
yet.
It would just hope so. I think what is key in this situation is the ability for Donovan Mitchell to be a leader and learn how to move that team along. Like you're not saying
You
he's not
know,
just coming in. That's the key. I think that's
the,
key at this
the
point.
funnest thing for me has been determining the matchups. So let's just give a conference finals prediction. The Celtics make it back in the Cavaliers.
Uh
Who
huh.
you put Marcus Smart on? You put him on Mitchell or Garland?
That's a problem either way it goes. I think the best thing would be he would match
I
up
think
with
he
because
gets cooked either way.
oh yeah, he does definitely without a doubt. But I think the best, I think the best because you still have Jalen Brown who will still be there. But if, like you
You
say,
got to
Levert,
put him on Donovan, right?
yes, he had to
Go
put
ahead
him
and
on
show us
Donovan.
you that number one, Jalen. Shut that down.
But then
That's going.
Garland Cooks,
Hot.
Garland Cooks, and then Jason Tatum. Now he has a problem. He has to be able to, for the most part, be able to defend against any of those. You still got Isaac Oroku that's there. If Levert isn't going, he's still there. Then you have
They're
the
gonna
Mobley
need. You
brothers.
know who's gonna be very important for them is Rubio.
Oh yeah, I was just
That
looking at
that
him and
that
thinking the
that
same
point
thing.
guard off the bench like that Rondo for the Lakers.
But you know what? Who we forgetting about? We forget that Malcolm Brogdon and White are in Boston still.
Oh yeah.
Michael Brogdon's now in Boston. It's I think you so you would even say 1 and 2 even over you don't think 7-6 you think 7-6 has got a little way to go before they could be back in that conversation again.
The 76ers, no. No, Joel Embiid just needs to stay healthy. But it never happens. If he's healthy against the Miami Heat, we beat them in six. But he had a broken hand, a broken
Mm-hmm.
orbital eye. He was hurt. And James Harden. Nope. James Harden did not shoot in the second half. This is learned. We ain't even gonna do it. They're gonna have
What
to
would
show us.
what would James Harden get ready to potentially just be a point go to the point? Do you think do you think James is locked in right now and ready to take on that?
No.
No,
No, he's
you
on a
think he's still
yacht
going?
partying. We just saw him throw the cake out the window. They
He
ain't to be worried
did.
about no basketball till January. It was probably when he'll start caring. And he deserves that right. Freaking James Harden. He can wake up and score 50 points straight.
I see your
But then
man
again,
Corksmaz got in the little altercation yesterday for
Korkmaz.
Quan for Corksmaz.
Oh, he is a Sixer, ain't he?
Mm-hmm.
Man, gosh, that's how much I done forgot about him. Gosh, man, he probably made like 2 threes a whole playoffs. I hope he get in trouble.
Yeah, he got caught up and he got jumped by some players. Uh,
Oh, what?
the Turkish players, I think, out at the
Oh,
in Euro basketball.
he got mollywop. See, Trey, them dudes,
Russians,
they.
Russians. It was a Russian
Okay,
player.
that makes sense.
They run it. They
Shouldn't
call
have
him.
been talking shit.
He
Shouldn't
got
have
into an
been
altercation
talking.
on the court in which they both got ejected, and then supposedly the Russian police players and the other player that got ejected caught him slipping in the tunnel and dropping things on him. And
Wow.
so now
Who's
what's
out
going
there
on is
talking?
the Turkish uh, delegates are stating that they want that Hall video. If they're not given to them, they're going to drop out the tournament.
That's wild. He was like, "Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? I'm in the NBA." And it's like, "No, we don't know who you are." Matter of fact, here go these hands.
But yeah, Donovan Mitchell. But you know what? Going back to this Donovan Mitchell situation, as we got a little time. What does that say for Utah now? Utah is like going all in on a rebuild. It's almost like they're making it to where they're not going to be a team that can compete for the sake of picking up the best of the best in the drafts. Over the next 7 years, they have a total of 13 first round draft picks. And they're looking to get rid of the other three players that they have in Bogdanovich, Clarkson, and Conley.
Oh, LA Lakers. How
That's
would
what
you
the
feel
conversation
about a
is.
starting point guard? What's the Utah point guard? Him and
Conley,
then Beverly
Michael
off the
Conley.
bench. Conley starting, Beverly off the bench. And if you could pick between what's the small forward's name? Bogdanovich or their sixth man, who would you pick? I don't think the Lakers would get all three. Two though, easily.
Bogdanovich, you need a shooter. We need shooting. I would go with Bogdanovich. We need shooting.
LA, y'all gotta get all three, baby. Come on. What's the GM's name? Kobe's
Palinka.
manager. Palinka, come on, man. You better go get these Utah chips. Y'all better get them two picks to them and figure out how to get a third one in there. Because clearly, if you got picks, Utah is thirsty. Go get them all. Oh my gosh.
But of course, in doing that, they have to send Russell Westbrook to Utah.
Or,
Uh,
or Buddy Hield and Turner. Would you prefer Buddy Hield and Turner or them three?
I think I would prefer Buddy Hield and Turner. Even though Conley as a utility as the point guard,
Wow.
man, I think is a good look. Oh my goodness, I think Conley as a
You
point
telling me
guard.
over the three of them, Clarkson, Bogdan, and Conley, you will still get Buddy Hield and Turner?
Yeah, Turner is a young
Yeah.
talent. Turn,
Yeah.
Turner's a young talent in which he can reserve or run with AD, and then of course Buddy Hield is a shooter in which we desperately need perimeter shooting, the defense. So that although like I said, I think he would do. We need the point guard. I think Conley would be in the mode of Derek Fisher, to where you're not
My
expecting you to do anything except for execute the offense, and I think that's Conley. So that would
my
be that.
thing is with Utah, you will get two starters and a six man of the year. Like Bogdanovich is dope. Like he's
He is.
like a European mini LeBron. No, I won't say mini LeBron. He's like a mini Luca.
Hmm.
He's a cooker.
Yeah, and then when he gets hot, he's hot. So so maybe you're right because I said we need shooting and the
Jordan
heel. So
Clarkson off the bench.
oh yeah, yeah. So maybe
Which is
I
crazy
would
because
run
it
it.
would be a homecoming for him.
He
You
would
don't
come
want your
back.
boy back home? Dang.
I
Jory, he
you know
said,
what
stay in
I
Utah.
think I
I
think
want Turner.
what's funny is what's funny is I don't know why they released Clarkson, but Clarkson basically has went and he's basically made his way back to where what it was at LA. And this is the thing, man. I continue to say LA has these people in camp already, releases them, they go other places and do immaculate and do better things, and then we look like what's going on. The only person who I can say isn't doing that right now is Ball. Like unfortunate situation for Lonzo. Um, But one thing that
Lonzo
was
is
said
gold.
is, yeah, one thing that was said is that Lamelo, I mean not Lamelo, Lamelo is better than his brother, and that's obvious. Lamelo is the better ball brother.
I have some other thoughts, but
Really? You don't think so?
well, without a doubt, Lamelo is better. But I want to give Lonzo his just due because
Okay.
he was he's a great defender. He was top 5 in 3-point percentage.
Mm. It's just unfortunate he can't get right now. At
Yeah,
this point,
he'll
he's
never
been to
stay
3 teams. At this point, he's been to 3 teams after being a number 2 overall first round draft pick. He's been
true.
jet setting
Yeah.
to 3 teams at this point. And just when we
Uh,
thought he was on the right team in Chicago, he gets injured, and now here we are, almost a year later, and they're still talking about he won't be available.
uh, yeah. All valid points. Meanwhile, Lamelo will never get traded. He's gonna be in Charlotte for the rest of his career.
I think you have a situation where Lamelo will be a Laker soon. Lamelo will be in
Dropping
LA.
the seeds. That sounds so sexy. So sexy.
Lamelo will
Uh,
be in LA. He's going to be the replacement of
that's
two
definitely
years
his personality.
2 years from now when LeBron and AD are getting ready to leave. Enter Lamelo to the fray, and whoever's the hotness at that time.
Mm,
Lamelo and I don't know. It depends on
mm.
who is in.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that LeBron signed for 2 more years. Because I was gonna say, if Anthony Davis isn't looking good and the Lakers is in the top 2, 3 seed out west, I
Hmm.
would really not consider. I would trade Anthony Davis before the February deadline. But then again, I'm like, we got LeBron for 3 more years. I could run this back 3 more times. I mean, you at least
Both of them.
eventually gonna strike gold with LeBron and AD. We're gonna
Yeah,
get some right people around. And if we
in the
win
next
one
three
more chip,
years.
oh,
Hmm.
we going down to LA greatness.
Yeah, it was interesting because like at the end state is they're both secure through 2025, in which they both come
Right.
off the books at that time, and then there could be a decision made like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and let LeBron go, or are we gonna keep him for one more year, or whatever the case may be. So they're both eligible to go at the same time, in which by that time, given one more year, LeBron may be able, depending on what the CBA is, LeBron may be able to
Uh-huh.
fulfill his destiny by playing with both his sons, because the Bryce is currently 15, uh, which means I think he's a freshman in high school. So
Lakers gonna draft him. Lakers, Cleveland, or Miami. If anybody else draft him, be pissed. Y'all, it just don't involve y'all. Phoenix, Portland, y'all stay up there. LeBron's son goes to one of his teams. Oh, that would be so beautiful. I would love Miami. Little Bronny James down in Miami, his dad's shadow, and LeBron come back. Oh yeah.
or like you said, putting him back in Cleveland, like they said
Yeah, that's what
when
I'm
they
voting
got
for.
Donovan. Yeah, he's like, welcome home, or I'm coming home. They had the thing where it said I'm coming home. It's like you never know. LeBron might
Cleveland
go
sports deserve that. I don't think Dan Gilbert deserves it, but Cleveland definitely does.
where ended all where he started it.
One chip in 50 years. Thank you, LeBron. I'm happy for Cleveland. You hear that? One chip in the past 50 years. How many chips LA got in the past 5 years, Trey? I said it's gonna hurt me to count how many.
And
Oh
I,
man.
and I didn't realize how far ahead Boston and LA was in front of everybody else when it comes to championships. But like you said, it was all
Yep.
done at the beginning of the year. It was done earlier in years because of late. We have other teams that have been reenacting that over and over again. But 17 championships, tied for 17. Unfortunately,
It's not
Boston
even
hasn't.
close. The
Boston,
Boston Bruins is so dang good. The Red Sox is always freaking good for the past 25 years. We don't need to talk about the Patriots. Celtics is always good.
so
Meanwhile, there's Cleveland.
and even then, now I think about it, Ron, next week starts all the fantasy seasons in which we are part of, in which I must say,
I ain't
I
ready.
must say, two balls, two. I was like, goodness, who is this drafting? And I was looking, I was like, which team is Ron? And I was like, I just had an inkling of thought, like, this must be Ron. I was like, this dude, whoever is drafting this, is up in is a thorn in my side. I was up thinking, like, okay, I'm finna get this player. The next thing you know, that player's drafted. I was like, y'all can't
Oh,
be serious right now.
yeah. Yeah, you had a bad spot too. You was at the back of the draft.
But so I
Um,
was,
I was
I was
right
kind
there
of,
with you though.
I kind of liked it. I was, I like being at that. Wait, hold up. I like being at that position. I was open. I was like, I'm cool at this. It was just one of those things. Like at the end state was, um, you was eating up everything. Like I was sitting up and thinking, like, okay, I'm finna do this. I was like, yeah, it's looking good. And then I was like, golly, I was like, who is this person that keep on taking these players? Like I had my sight set of so many players. It's like at one point I was sitting up and the Bishop had called me and he was on the phone and he was drafted and I was like, okay. And I was looking, I was like, okay, I'm finna go after this. And I'm still thinking, it comes to me, I was like, okay, yeah. And then it's like, I was like, no, are you serious right now? And then of course Bishop is in my ear talking about, oh, you could have got him. I was like, no. I was like, I didn't want. Who is it that I think you picked up? It was even you or the person before me that picked up. It was a quarterback I was getting ready to get.
Hmm.
I can't remember who it
Hurts.
was. No, it wasn't Hurts. I had a chance to get Hurts. I didn't want Hurts. Um,
What did I get from my backup?
let me see who was it. It was somebody. I was like, man. I was like, I can't believe this. I was like, I was all over. Like I didn't even want. I currently have. I currently have. Uh, what's his name from Murray, and I instantly went and put him on the trading blocks. Guess who Bishop tried to get me for Murray? I was like, come on, man, with the disrespect. This dude tried
Tua?
to accept. No, he tried to give me he tried to give me Trevor Lawrence.
That's basically Tua. Dang.
He tried to get. He's like, you don't want him anyway. I was like, bro, you're not going to sit up and trying to just hand me him. I was like, come on, man, stop playing. He
Hey,
tried to
man.
offer him. So he was like, I was like, man, stop playing.
I was hoping Bishop was going to be on today because we still got our trade pending in the first formation league. He
Oh,
ain't
really?
deleted yet. He been leaking on that. Aaron
Uh,
Rodgers. Who was he trading? He gonna give me
uh,
Kelsey though. If he give me Kelsey, I want to trade because I get the best player. Come
I've
on.
been. I'm trying to work on the trade now to send what's his
Oh no,
name
I was
out.
giving him Rodgers
Yeah, you're giving him Rogers. You are, yeah. I- I'm
for
working
his
on the.
Lazard.
I could have sworn I had. I thought I had sent Donovan a trade to move to try to help them strengthen. Oh, I guess I don't have anyone, or maybe they. Oh, that's what I have. I have a trade proposed to Bishop. I offered him. I offered him Kyler Murray and Elijah Mitchell for Leonard Fournette.
Mmm. Mmm. If he was hurting for a quarterback, that's a great trade because
He
Elijah
should be hurting
Mitchell,
for
Leonard Fournette.
he should be hurting for a quarterback because his backup is Mac Jones right now.
My question is, why are you giving up that 2-for-1? Because Elijah Mitchell could be just as good as Fournette this year, and Fournette could be as bad as Mitchell this year. I don't know about the Buccaneers' O line. He came in the season overweight. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
depends on the
It's
Buccaneers' offense. We just was talking
true.
about that. You sure you want Fournette? I stayed
I,
away
I
from him. I didn't get him in any league.
well, I stayed away from him too. But now when I look at the utility, what I have on my
If you could steal
roster,
him, you could steal him.
yeah. Because I mean, at this point, I don't have any. I mean,
I
Curry,
like that trade though.
Murray is my third is one of 3 quarterbacks on my roster, in which I
Is he your
think
second or your third though?
he's my third. I got Lamar
How?
Jackson.
Which two quarter?
I got Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
No, heck you don't. Let me go look.
Yeah, I traded for Lamar Jackson. I traded the Cowboys defense for Lamar Jackson and got the 49ers defense.
Somebody gave you Lamar Jackson for the Cowboys defense?
I traded Brees Hall and the Cowboys defense for Lamar Jackson and the 49ers defense.
For Brees Hall? Oh my gosh. I love me some Brees Hall, but for Lamar Jackson, they must love that defense. Interesting trade. That's a
So now
steal trade.
I have
That
I
ain't
have
fair.
so
That is trade bait. Oh my gosh. If you
I
don't
have
trade Mahomes yesterday,
so now I have Lamar. Now I have Lamar, um, Patrick Mahomes, and Kyler Murray on my
so
offense.
who's your two running backs? Matter of fact, I
That's
can go to the
that's the
defense.
problem. My running backs, I have a weak running back. So
Ah.
that's
So
why
who's
I
your
have
receivers then? You must have good
that.
receivers.
My receivers are all right too. So my running backs, I have Travis Etienne Jr. and Cam Akers, and then Elijah Mitchell and is the other one. So I have 3. So I want to strengthen my running back
Three
core, but I
decent
have to
ones,
give up a
right?
running back to strengthen. Yeah, but then my receivers, I have Christian Kirk, Michael Pittman Jr., uh, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool, and Tyler Lockett. Those are my receivers. The tight ends, I have Kerry Kittle, I have George Kittles and Darren Waller. So I'm not worried about that. And then my defense is the 49ers.
Definitely running back upgrade. Oh wait.
So yes, I need a
I got 3 of the best for our running backs trade. Don't be stingy with your trades. Send one my way. You can send a crazy offer. I got Barkley. I got Kamara. I got Elker. They all better than
You know
Fournette,
what?
baby.
Yeah, they are. You know what? I looked. I was like, I wonder.
Go
I was like,
ahead. Throw me in
but
my
you know what?
home for Elker trade so I can
This
reject
is
it.
what I look at, right? Because I surely Eckler is who I looked at on your roster. I was like, but if I send him Eckler, he ain't finna take the what's called for Eckler because you don't have a bad backup. So you know what I'm saying that wasn't enticing enough.
It would have to be Mahomes for Elker, and I would think about it for a week and then reject it.
Because I was looking, I was like, I was like, he got Aaron Rodgers. I was like, the only way I would make that trade is after he traded Aaron Rodgers, in which I would come back and double back and make that trade.
Oh no, I'm just like you. If you don't give me Lamar Jackson for free, and all you want is one of my third running backs, let's do it. I'll take an extra quarterback. I know how to trade. I'm gonna go get me Jefferson or Chase. That's what I would do if I was you. Because
So
I think Wishmacock.
it's funny you said that because I was looking at his roster the other day. I was even going to give him a bone by sitting up and trying to take Thielen off his hands, but I was like, I don't have any room for Thielen, so I was like, I'm not going to do that. But but he definitely like it was a few people I've been looking at in which I was like, man, I think I can maybe poach some. I mean, not poach. I can get somebody off someone's roster, so I might just have to sit up and wait it out with him on there and just go from there. It'd be like, okay, let me
Well, now that I know you got 3 quarterbacks, you're just desperate to get rid of one of them. You can expect the offer from me before Thursday. I tried to get on all the fantasy league that I'm in last night. I'm like, I'm not ready for this. And I'm like, let me see how long it takes me just to go through every single one of them, make sure everything looks right. It was about 65, 75 minutes. Whew. Too many fantasy.
And then like yesterday I end up last night. I end up Saturday. I've left 2. I had 2 drafts and I didn't go. Wasn't there present at either one of them. I have forgot about them. But the teams are all right, so I could do it. But like I said, I built through the waiver
Yeah.
wire anyway. So I was like, I wasn't tripping. It was like we'll see how it
Them
goes.
them auto drafts. That team those is always fun. The computer never drafts you a bad team.
So yes, but of course, you know what I'm saying, that's our time for today. We appreciate Ron getting on rocking with us this morning. We had the kind of conversation this morning about college football. Of course, y'all know to catch us tomorrow as we get to talk about the current updated ranking for the college football. I know Bishop will probably be on for that. I got to hear this mess about why Oklahoma moving up and the Boomer Sooners and stuff like that. But count them days for them Sooners, Bishop. I assure you. We continue to have a conversation. Like we say, Thursday night is the point. That's where we got our sights set on as we get ready to lock in on the NFL season with that first game that's going to be lit. We'll see if Ron, like he said, he talked about the 3 points. If that's is it a good bet or not, we'll see if Caesar decides to move it left or right a little bit and see where it goes. I don't know. I got $54 to burn. I might sit up and try to spend it. I might go on. I don't know. I was even looking to see who to place before the season start, who to place a bet on. I started to take that bet with just for giggles. The Houston with a 30,000 30 point underdog for the Super Bowl. I was like, what's saying $5 to get me to 6,000? That's not. I mean, we throw away $5 for
For
anything.
Houston to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, 30,000 underdog, 30,000 odd. So I was like, 3 to 6, $5 to 6,000 if that was to happen. I was like, that's a good come up. But of course, then reality set in. It's like, what's the odds? Like, of that happening for real? For real. But yeah, so we look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Ron, anything to say before you get up out of here?
Go Rams.
Go Rams. I'll rock with them on that for now. At some point,
You know you hate it.
at some
We'll
point,
see
we
y'all
have
in week 4 or 5.
Yes. So, of course, High Speeds, greatly appreciate y'all rocking with us today, checking us out. Be sure to catch us every Monday through Friday, 09 to 1100 hours here, talking about sports and all those things in reference to plenty more sports coming up and talking about it. Very different analysis is everything, looking beyond what's in front of us on the field and having a conversation. We look forward to seeing y'all. Be sure to check us here, and we'll holler at y'all. One, peace.